So we just got the most busted banner in the history of this game's lifespan, and with it, we got this brand new toy on the Christmas Dimitri. So no quarter, I was fearing for my life what this special was going to be in terms of inheritance, and it's way better than I could have ever imagined. I thought this was going to be cav-locked if it was inheritable. I didn't even think it would be inheritable, but they just completely disregarded all of my transgressions there. So you can give this to any melee type, so sword, lances, and axes, and they can also be infantry, flyer, or cav. The fact that flyers are able to get this is just so nutty, because we're already in a meta where flying melee types are really dominant, because you want them to have like soaring guidance and guidance 4, you want to give them like guard bearing or gambit 4 so they can man down the front lines and be a nice warping beacon for your other allies. So having something like this now on those flyers where they can just pierce DR on top of that, so they just get a better matchup against the god swords and the god lances and god units that are manning down the front lines for other people. Like, dude, this is so cracked. This is ridiculous. This is actually like ridiculous. So cavalry and flyers are who we're going to be focusing on. We're talking about who you want to inherit this skill onto, and the prerequisite is Draconic Aura, which is very, very easy. There's a lot of units that have been demoted that have this skill. So once you get it, it's like you want to give it to a rearmed or attuned hero, and then you've got as many copies of this as copies of that same rearmed or attuned hero. So let's dive right in. Of course, we're starting off with a flyer, so Legendary Elincia, the ultimate in warping. Now, a lot of people had issues with her on release, and the primary issue is that she can't pierce DR. Well, guess what? Insys was just like, fuck all of that. Now, Elincia can pierce DR. You give her no quarter, and it's lights out. She nullifies guard already. She's got -1 special trigger, and she has aerial maneuvers, so she can just quad the enemies, hit them 4 times in a row. That's it, man. Like, this is, it's over. Elincia piercing DR now, it's over, man. That's it. Lights out, game's done. Bye-bye, see you. Woo! Alright, we got Dagger up next. So, now Dagger is also a really cool unit. This Wind Tribe Dagger is actually my favorite of the Wind Tribe units. More than Wind Tribe Claude. Yes, I know everyone is, like, all nuts about Wind Tribe Claude, but I actually think Dagger was way better. And I still do. I think so even more now, because she's able to pierce DR if you give her no quarter. And if you get the Summoner, or not the Summoner support, the Ally support with her on your other characters, then she's just giving permanent Pathfinder to herself and whoever the support is. So just double Pathfinder for free at the start of every turn. And if you guys remember, there was a duo unit in particular that just gives party-wide Pathfinder, and she was kind of okay. I mean, she was certainly not mid, right? She was a little bit better than mid. That unit in particular only does that for 1 turn, though, whereas this unit is doing it permanently throughout the entire fight. So definitely some powerful stuff, being able to cut DR with her now, and then also just create a Congo line for your other units to just Pathfinder their way into the action. All right, we got Brave Seliph up next. My boy, my homie, my friend, the best man at my wedding. So Seliph, this dude has a ton of defense, like, not defense piercing, but like bonus damage based on the foe's defense, I think it is. Yeah, so he could get like 40% of the foe's defense as true damage on every attack. So really, to beat this Seliph, the way that you would do it is not by stacking defense, but by stacking damage reduction. Because it's really hard to just, like, tank a hit from him with defense. So now, if you can't use DR either, like, you can't use defense, you can't use DR, what do? You just die. And he also has that miracle for safety. So it's not like you can just delete him either. It's not necessarily that easy to blow him up. So you pierce DR on your tank. Like, a lot of tanks right now want to be piercing DR because a lot of the melee or the ranged threats right now that are running around, they're getting so much DR on initiation. So your tank has to be able to pierce DR. That's not going to work on Seliph. You can't just pierce DR. You have to also pierce Miracle if you want to beat this guy. So very awesome stuff for him. There's also his legendary variant, who's one of those tank units we were just talking about. Like, he's a type of unit that wants to be piercing DR, and now he can do that. He wasn't able to do it before no quarter, but now he can. So he gets the enemy phase Brave attack. The enemies are going to hit him first, and then he hits them twice in a row. And if you get it right, if you get it to go right, then his second hit on the Brave can be no quarter to the face that pierces the enemy's DR. You would have to get breath support on him from somewhere. There's quite a lot of ways to do that, but Probably the most like notable one right now is Legendary Hinoka, who gives the acceleration support. But there are many other units that can do it, like Citrine as well, if you give her Pledge. So she can pass around, like, special acceleration to all her party members. So just find a way to do that, because this guy does not have -1 special trigger. And then you're going to be good to go. Even if they have, like, guard on their attacks and stuff, you're going to be able to get to your no quarter and blow them up. So very good. And then we got this unit. This nuclear missile of a unit that has effective against pretty much everything. She also has a brave attack. She's getting true damage based on speed. You can also now give her... You can give her that new B skill, too, from Yunaka on the banner, because that one is available for sword, lances, and axes. So, what is it called again? Assassin Strike, where you get 20% bonus damage based on the enemy's defense, and you also melt them with 7 points of true damage before combat. Combo that on her with Flared Sparrow, and give her no quarter, and that's it. Like, what is living this? Nothing. There's nothing in the game that's ever going to have enough power to survive that. So yeah, she can do all of that. Unfortunately, the Summer Male Shez does not have effective against everything in the kitchen sink. But he is still really nice, and he's a flyer, which, as we said with flyers earlier on in the video, you want to be running these really bulky and really fast, like, melee flyers on the front lines with Soaring Guidance and Guidance 4. And this guy's going to be able to pull that off really well. Also, the Brave Attack gives him a better chance to activate no quarter, so he can just hit the enemies twice in a row, and if you got, like, Hinoka on the team or somebody to give him acceleration, then he's going to easily be able to ramp right into it. So, very awesome for him. Arion, another God-tier GHB unit that we got. So, he gives charge, and I think we can genuinely say he's, like, actually better than Hinoka now. Well, is he? That might be a tricky one, but he's definitely claimed his stake on the mantle. So he's giving charge support just like Hinoka, which is the only relevant support. I mean, Hinoka's also giving, like, a crazy rain effect on her C skill, and she gives also the acceleration on hit. But Arion just gives charge, and him being melee type with solid defenses, as opposed to Hinoka just being a glass cannon, works out in his favor. You can plop him on the front lines and have him just, like, support the team with Guidance 4, Soaring Guidance, charge. He gives attack and defense up 6. And now he can have no quarter as well. So things are boding really well for Arion here. Now, also, like, all of these melee flyers, but also just rearmed heroes, I just grouped all of them in. You give it to them, they should be the first priority. So, like, your Ingrids, your Peonies, your Triandras, Alfred, especially Alfred, because he doesn't really have anything else good to pass on, as does this lift. So, like, these two should probably be the top picks, because at least with no quarter, they've got something juicy to pass out to the rest of your barracks. But, like, these other guys, they can do other stuff too. So, like, all of the flyers, they get Soaring Guidance and Guidance 4. The two dancers get Firestorm Dance 3 and Rock Slide Dance 3. So they've still got, like, other good skills to pass around. These two, not so much. So if you want your copies of them to be valuable, maybe giving them no quarter would be very nice. And they also make good use of it themselves, being able to pierce the R. Alright, then we got these Brave attackers. So Cordelia and Catria leading the pack as always. I feel like at this point we can safely say Cordelia's better than Catria. Because there's just, like, so many ways to deal with Catria now. We got Schism recently, and now everything is just coming with Brave Attack DR. So Catria is kind of in a rough spot, but Cordelia's superior player phase potential and superior harmonic skill, I think, give her the edge. So I feel like Cordelia's better now. Like, for sure, like, definitively better. They were always, like, kind of tied, but I don't know. But either way, both of them being able to pierce DR with no quarter is very helpful. So we can't sleep on that. We got the new Pala, who also got her refine recently. Hers is really good. I actually like her refine quite a bit. She gets the triangle attack to herself if she's got allies within 3 spaces of her. So very, very generous on the reach there for how close together your units need to be. And then her being able to Brave Attack, she gets, like, bonus damage based on her attack stat. She already had a really good attack stat on release. Her Duo skill gives adjacent flyers +1 movement, and it's reusable. So she can also be a nice little frontline option with the movement and mobility support. Just very solid stuff all around for her. And we got the other Pala, the big girl Pala, from Valentia. So this one's also got a Brave Attack, but she's got adaptive damage too. she's always been a pretty solid unit for summoner duels, and that's just even more so now that she can pierce DR. Cherche, another brave attack unit here, so the Ninja Cherche. Definitely a good unit to get the damage reduction piercing on. Dimitri from Summer. Oh boy, this is a juicy one. So not only does he have the ability to pierce DR now, he still has his brave attack, and he's got atrocity on his B skill. So he's getting a ton of damage from that. Maybe not quite as much as Summer Female Shez. Like, she is a freaking rocket launcher right now. But Dimitri, he's more so like handgun level, I would say. Still enough to blow somebody's brains out, though. So, definitely a good pickup for Dimitri. Summer Ephraim, oh my god, this guy covers so much reach. He's also tanky as all sin, and now being able to pierce DR. He lets the enemies attack him first, by the way, so he can get to his special better, which is really cheeky. So instead of clapping him with a bonfire or Ignis like you've been doing recently with this guy, why not just give him no quarter and just blow them up right on the spot? So very good for him. Now we've got these effective damage dealers. So we have Legendary Kata to start us off. This unit's got Vantage, and she could possibly pierce DR with no quarter. And she's also effective against a lot of things. What is it? Cavalry and armor with her? Let's double check that. Yep. So, very good, nice unit here. She can frontline pretty well, considering she's got Vantage. She can pierce DR. You can give her Guidance 4 and Soaring Guidance to let your units warp in. If the opponents don't have a Hardy Bearing unit or a unit with like Fire Sweep or something to get by her Vantage, you can just park this unit right in front, and she's going to be pretty safe. So, definitely some good stuff here from this Legendary Kata. She definitely got a lot more value after this banner. Now, the Baby Kata, she's very similar to the Legendary one. The Legendary one is better. But we're coming up on a refine for this Kata. Don't forget, like, she could be in the next batch. I think we already got the Baby Marth, and we're most likely going to get maybe Minerva on the next refine batch, because she's next in line for Tempest Trial units. Don't be surprised if this Baby Kata is in the next refine batch as well. So, if you want to, like, preemptively give her no quarter right now, may not be the worst idea in the world. She's also got the Vantage, and instead of being effective against armor and cav, she's effective against weapon types. So, that's really clutch, of course, because the Surveillance Shield that the new Byleth gives himself on his duo skill is only covering you for effective against armor. It's not covering you for effective against sword. So, like, this is pretty spicy stuff from her. All right, we got also the Hentai Kata up next. The Summer Kata and Plumeria combo. So, these units, they also have effective against everything in the kitchen sink. They also have a Dancing Harmonic skill, which is nice. Just get an extra action from characters from Fire Emblem Heroes, which is a really good roster. And they are going to be able to clap pretty good. You can give them some offensive DR like Flow Refresh 4 and things like that. Or you just give them Flow Desperation so they hit twice in a row. Whichever one you prefer. You give them like Flared Sparrow and then you give them no quarter and they're cooking again. So really nice for them. We got Tsubasa also who got her refine. Now hers is pretty solid. She gets a lot of stats. But one of my personal issue with her was that she couldn't pierce DR. But now she can. So with her double effectiveness on cavalry and armor, now she can pierce DR, and then she's getting a crap load of attack and speed. You can still give her like a lot of DR if you want with like Gambit 4, because she doesn't have -1. Oh, no, you wouldn't be able to give her Gambit, because Gambit is, you want like 5-hit specials with that. No quarter is only a 3-hit. So Guard Bearing 4, sure enough, we'll go with that. And we'll go for Soaring Guidance, Guidance 4, maybe even Attack and Speed Snap or Speed and Defense Snap. All right, we got the two Chroms as well. We have the Fallen and Brave Chrom. Both of these guys aged really well. Well, I guess this guy's not really that old. We can't say he aged. He's less than a year old, but this guy is about a year old. So, yeah, he's aged really gracefully with his ability to just steal all your allies' bonuses. We entered the meta where everyone just has start-of-turn bonuses. So, like, this guy, that was definitely what he was waiting on. And now he can pierce DR, he can repo and take another action, and all the other good stuff that he does. So, very awesome from him. And likewise, this guy as well. He doesn't steal bonuses, but he does a lot of debuffs on the foes. He's got Snag 4 and things like that. He can inflict exposure as well on the nearest targets. So, pretty cool. Then we got Brave Erica. Ooh, okay. So here's a refine that I think a lot of people slept on, because her refine was basically just stats. Both her and Brave Marth ended up getting similar things where it was just stats with them for the most part. However, in Erica's case, she was already doing quite enough in terms of effects that she was enough to get by. Whereas Marth, on the other hand, I feel like he needed a couple more effects for him to be able to stand out. So Erica, getting the better end of the stick there, is able to pull off no quarter and do some pretty good work with it. She's got a lot of DR. She's going to be able to win a lot of speed checks, and it's going to be very solid on her. She's also got the Kanto built in, so that's great stuff. We got the Groom Roy here. He can just go ahead and pop Treachery whenever he wants. So combining that with damage reduction piercing is very good. He can also support the team by giving that as well. He can give the the Treachery to all his other allies from the same titles. Not quite as good as the recent Lucina that we got. Actually, I should have probably had her on here too. Yeah, the Arcane Lucina that we just got on the other Arcane banner. The one with the Arcane Prima, or Thrima, as I should say. That unit should have been in here on the list in the same column as, like, the Attuned Heroes and the Rearmed ones, but I don't know. I didn't see her on the list of units over here for some reason. They didn't update it. All right, then we got Bunny Maria, another one of these tanky frontline sword flyers, or melee flyers, I should say. She's interesting with it because she's got non-pierceable DR, whereas all the other melee flyers, they have pierceable DR. So, like, getting the non-pierceable DR with her, and then you're combining that with her ability to pierce enemies' DR, it's pretty dirty. So, this Maria, don't be fooled by that smile. She's always been hiding, like, cutesy-wootsy behind that smile. Instead, she's going to send you to the netherworld. All right, and then finally, we've got Thor here. So, Thick Mama, you got to run her anyway as an offensive mythic hero if you've got merges on her. And she's been she's kind of had her ups and downs in AR. Like, when she came out, she was really good. Then she had, like, a dry period in between where she wasn't really so good. And then now there's a lot of things you can do with her by giving her, like, Soaring Guidance, Guidance 4, aerial maneuvers, and, like, all the crazy warping and good flyer skills that we have access now. And now you can have her also pierce DR when she was effective against armor already. And she's got -1 special trigger. And World Breaker, if you want to go for that, gives her the special ramping, which is very good. So shouldn't be too difficult for her to activate that. And that's pretty much the list of the standout units that I saw. Let me know in the comments section down below if you summoned for no quarter, and who are you giving it to, and who do you want to pass it along to. This is your boy Tacho signing out. So take care, fellas, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.